And other sheep I have which are not of this fold. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. Call Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Barakatham, Rakakidash. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Your brother Yazariella for the Northern Kingdom, bringing some edification for you Negro, Latino, and Indigenous who are the biblical Israelites. Before we start, we want to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, Rakakidash. That Yahweh being the name of the Lord, not Jehovah, or God, or Yah, or Ahaya. It's Yahweh, the creator of all, the Ancient of Days. Bahasham is in the name of, and Yahweh Shai is the one you guys call Jesus or the Christ, ignorantly speaking. And we give double honors to elders in GMS, where we learn this truth. Shalom to the apostles, the bishops, and to the men down the highways and byways, giving the 100% truth day and night. Shalom to you and your households. And shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel, a Bakar in the Hebrew, the house of David being rebuilt. Shalom to you. And shalom to the speckled birds among the heathen nations that look like the heathen nations, but return to the house of Israel and are being edified by these videos. Shalom to you. So the date today would be Tuesday, the 26th of 2026, I believe. This heat is just unbearable here, but we have to endure. This is a year of apostates, bug-outs, agents, false prophets, Jacob's trouble, and of course World War III. All of these things are happening as we speak. Earthquakes, volcanoes, famine. We have the electricity going out over there in Indiana. We know these things are just, they're probing to see where there's going to be the most crime, the most uprise with the people when they do bring and shut off the electricity. Okay, when 911 is no longer. Okay, so they're probing and they're collecting information. But that's what's happening as we speak. Of course, we still have the war happening over there with Russia and Ukraine, which is escalating into worse and worse. And of course, we have the war with Iran and the Straits of Hormuz with the United States, and it's only getting worse and worse and worse. Because the Lord is going to want this armies, because these armies of Sabaoth, right? All his armies, they belong to him. So he's putting all the chess pieces in the right position. And he's just slammed this shit shut because prophecy has to be fulfilled. So we're going to be speaking about how the Lord only came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. We just read John 10. So let's go back and just give it a glance here. John 10:16. And other sheep I have. So this is where a lot of Christians go. See, he's got other sheep. That means it's the other nations, the Gentiles. No. The only people in the scriptures that are called sheep is the nation of Israel. The other nations are called what? Dogs or goats. Okay? Tells you the Lord is going to separate the sheep from the goats, the wheat from the tares. He gives many examples. Okay? And other sheep I have which are not of this fold. Right. They're not Jews. They're not of Judah. They're not of Benjamin. They're not Levi. But they're Israelites. They're the 10 tribes. Okay? That the Lord turned his back on. Okay, you can read that in the book of Hosea. You can read that in 2 Kings. But we're going to get some of this and get a little bit of foundation and get a little bit of understanding on this verse. Okay? So the Lord came to bring all 12 tribes together. That's the prophecy. And that's what he came to do. Not to mingle with the other nations, because he never did a pact with the other nations. Okay, so let's prove that, because we prove all things. Let's go to Matthew 10. This is Matthew 10 and 5. These 12, this is before the Great Commission, okay? And in Matthew 28. Matthew 10 becomes first, then Matthew 28. Matthew 10 and 5, these 12 Yahweh Shai sent forth and commanded, he commanded them, he ordered them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles. Oh, what? Word? Go not into the way of the Gentiles? I never heard that. Your pastor definitely didn't read this. And into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. Don't enter into the city of the Samaritans, but instead, go to the what? Lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Right? Because the time of the Mashiach was here, the time of the repentance was at hand, that somebody was going to bring them back, restore them, and that was the Messiah's blood. Okay, prophecy unfolding. This is where a lot of Christians lose it. Okay, bug out. They don't have no understanding. But let's get some understanding. Remember, this is already written, so let's go to the prophecy, Ezekiel 37. It's very easy. These things are not hard. This is Ezekiel 37 and 16. Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah. Okay, for the Jews, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the southern kingdom, and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph. Now we're talking about Joseph of Egypt. Remember, he was sold into bondage and rose up into Egypt and became governor, number 2 man of all of Egypt. Okay? And the blessing was given to his sons. His sons were adopted and became tribes of the nation of Israel, according to his father. Okay? Before he died, he gave him the blessing. Ephraim and Manasseh. And the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions, and join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thy hand. And the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou now show us what thou meanest by this? Yeah, what's going on? What's a bit of the stick and this other stick? What are these people? Right? Say unto them, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph. Okay, these are the 10 tribes. You so-called Latinos and Native Americans, you're part of the 10 tribes. Joseph, which is in thy hand, of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah. Okay, the Judah represents the Negroes that were brought here in slavery, okay, in the 1600s, 1619 and so forth, okay, our brothers, and make them one stick. We're going to be a family once again, brothers, okay, and they shall be one in my hand. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thy hand before their eyes. And say unto, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I will take the children of Israel, okay, the 10 tribes, which from the tribes of Israel, from among the heathen. Where are these 10 tribes? Among the nations. What did he say in John, I believe it's 36? Go teach the Greeks that are among the Greeks. Okay, because that's what they called Gentiles, Greeks. People that were Hellenized, people that turned their back on their heritage. Gentiles. These are the Gentiles the Lord came for. Okay? And the children of Israel from among the heathen whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. What is that? What is that prophecy? Isaiah 11. You're gonna have to get that. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor their detestable things, nor with their transgressions, but I will save them. Save who? Save the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel out of all their dwelling places wherein they have sinned, and I will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. And that's Hosea 1 and 10. Okay, there's so many verses that pop in my head when I read this. It's beautiful. But Isaiah 11:11, this is exactly what is said about this chapter. And this all connects. Okay? What does it say? Restored remnants. And it shall come to pass that it's going to happen in that day. What day? When the Lord returns, that Yahweh shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the lands of the sea, from the islands of the sea, right? Ireland, England, Hawaii, Polynesia, okay? All the islands all over the world, Australia, New Zealand, right? Those are islands. He's going to get our people back. And shall set them upon this ends, and shall set an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart. Why? Because it's going to be a one happy family. Okay? The curses will be lifted, and we will be a nation that cannot be stopped. We will be kings and priests, as it is promised. And adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. And what's going to happen when blacks and Hispanics come together, the family come together? Look at the whip ass right here. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. Coming to America, bitches. And they shall spoil them all the east. Together they shall lay their hands upon Edom. You damn crackers. You guys are going down. And Moab. And the children of Ammon. All the other nations too. Damn Africans and Chinese and Japanese. They're all going down. And shall obey them. And the Lord Yahweh shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptians. Okay? And the Egyptians are you modern Americans. Okay? You modern Assyrians. You modern Babylonians. That's just a spiritual name. You're the Egyptians once again. Pharaoh is ruling once again and won't let his people go. They're about to get the plagues. Egyptian, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the seven streams, and make men go over dry shod. Okay, so that's the prophecy. Lot of prophecies. A lot of prophecies. Let's get 1 Kings 11 and 29. And it came to pass at that time with Jeroboam out of Jerusalem that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he clad himself with a new garment. So Jeroboam had a new garment and new threads, right? Which is talking about the northern kingdom. And they two were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it, and tore it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith Yahweh power of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. So now this is where the split happened. This is where Solomon lost the kingdom of heaven. Okay? But he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel. Because they have forsaken me. He's talking about the northern kingdom, you Native Americans and Latinos. Okay, you were already idolaters then, 3,000 years ago, and you're idolaters today. Because they have forsaken me and worship Ashereth and the goddess of Zidonians, and Chemosh and the god of the Moabites. Yeah, with the Chinese. Our people are still bowing down to Buddha and shit. It's fucking stupid shit like this, man. And Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not wakened into the way to the which the right in my eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments, and did David his father. How about I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life for David my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, and I will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes. And unto his son will I give one tribe, that David my servant may have light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there. And I will take thee, and thou shalt reign according to all the soul desireth, and shall be king over Israel. Okay, this is how the family split up 3,000 years ago. Let me get one more verse and bring this full circle. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which are carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captives. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathens, and go forth into a further country, where never mankind dwelt. So at this time, Europe was already established, Africa, and Asia. So that was the known world. So what is left? The Americas. They took a counsel amongst that they would leave the multitude of the heathens and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. The New World. That's what they're talking about. Okay? That they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow place of the river. So they're telling you now instructions how they left the so-called Levant area, the Middle East, Assyria, to the Euphrates River, which is, goes into the Gulf of Persia. Okay? For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood, till they were passed over. For that country there was a great way to go, namely of 1.5 years, and the same region is called Arsareth. So, Arsareth, okay, and I didn't have that ready, but let's get that. This is the Jewish Encyclopedia. Okay. This is Arsareth. The name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of men, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of the restoration, until the second coming of the Mashiach. According to Ezra's, just read that, chapter 13 and 45, Columbus identified America with this land. Christopher Columbus, translated by Dr. C. Gross. So there you go. Coming full circle that you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are one people. And you're coming together because prophecy has to be fulfilled. And these nations are about to go down. These nations are about to get punished and receive hell. Hell is coming. And they're going to endure. And we're going to see how many of them will survive. Because judgment is coming upon the earth. But first, the judgment will come to the house of Israel, and then they will come to the other nations. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. The Lord is gathering his sheep, okay? Where he's going to store his sheep, and he's going to burn the goats. Call halal Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, Barakatham, Rakakidash, and he that have ears, let him hear. Shalom.